Good morning, our Functional Farmhouse channel. Eric coming at you with Emergency Generators Part 2. We have a scheduled power outage. Power should be cutting off here any second. I've been waiting to do this until we actually had the power off. So I just want to, Part 2 is discussing deployment, power distribution, and then runtime. So I'm hoping to catch this while it happens, and I'll walk you through real time on me setting up, deploying, and distributing our setup. And once the power kicks off here, you'll hear my UPSs and whatnot. So, all right, y'all, power's finally out. I'm gonna walk you in real time to setting up the generator, plugging in. You can hear my UPSs on. I only have about 15-20 minute runtime on those. So we're gonna walk out here. I already have my generator staged. You can see on our meter, we are out and off. So just for the sake of, I'm not gonna show you exactly how I have this set up because it may not be entirely correct, but this is how I am doing it. And you know, obviously if you're home to do this, that's one thing. If you got a backup automatic, that's a whole nother deal, but we don't. And so this is what we're doing. So we're gonna turn on the fuel. Come back in, and we are back. You can turn the TV back on, bud. We've got we're feeding both legs on 220, and we are back on. Our Shelly video that the house is only idling around 700-800 watts. So our 6500 generator is more than capable. And this, in my context, I am feeding my whole panel, and I can run pretty much every single thing in the house except the AC. I think I have a 4.5 ton compressor. And I imagine if I got a soft start kit for that, I could probably light it off. I don't know. That's not super important. If it's super hot, I've got my RV that we can run and cool off. But yeah, that's really as simple as it is. If you don't have to have your generator tucked away, you know, my last home, I had to get it out, set it up, and this, you know, I just happened to have the room, and she's just purring away. And I like the inverter because it's quiet. You know, I'm not gonna be pissing off neighbors or anything. And so we got fuel. Oh, I've had some rodent activity. I got to check some of my traps. So concerns, considerations. Part 2 is, how are you going to distribute? Are you going to plug extension cords in? I want to keep my fridge and freezer. All right, y'all, it's been about 4 hours. We are still power off. And we're using some fuel. So I went and got one of my jugs. This fuel with a year worth of stabilizers, only a couple months old. So I'm gonna fuel this up. You really should turn the generator off to
to do that, I'm gonna do it while it's running, so Mama stays happy inside. But you can read ad nauseum fuel consumption. You gotta run your generator with what you're doing to really get a real world gauge on your fuel consumption, and then that will help you decide how much fuel you need on hand and what you want to run. If we were going to be an extended power outage, I'd probably run the generator about an hour or two twice a day. Once in the morning and 12 hours. That way the compressor cycle, food stays cold. Then you can really milk a lot more hours out of your fuel supply. All right, about 4 gallons. We are pretty much topped off. And there we go. And I've got probably about a gallon in there. And so those 4 hours we did run it down, but it was just a hair above a half tank. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this thing running. I'll top that off with that last gallon as needed, and we'll see when the power comes back on. We'll do a little recap. All right, y'all, it's been about 7.5 hours, and kind of doing a proof of concept. When I said I could run everything on my Honda, I kind of fibbed on that one. I can run everything but the house AC compressor and my jacuzzi. So it's a proof of concept because I've never done this before on the Honda. Philip's under the weather, he wants something warm, and so I've got the jacuzzi. We are hooked up to the Honda 6500, and I've got my Generac going to the house now. So power's still off. That's putting out almost 6,000 watts to run the 5 kilowatt heater. And this guy is doing okay. My UPSs, this is not a clean sine wave, so my backup batteries are not exactly happy in the house. Oh, he was pretty loud. But we're in here. We got dinner cooking. We've got our hood on. We've got all the 240 up. It depends on what you want and what you're willing to do if you're gonna do a backup route. So, food for thought. Yeah, power's out. We have lights on. I had hooked up tandem generators. We had the jacuzzi back heated. And, you know, it's a choose your own adventure out there. So, you gotta do what you gotta do. And only you're comfortable doing what you're comfortable doing. So we've been power off for 9 hours now, and we're going to continue to enjoy the backup situation we have. And on that note, let us know. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. It helps the channel. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comments. We'll get back to you. So take care, y'all, and we'll see you on the next one.